That reminds me of back home. That's that Charles Nix beat right there. Keep that same tempo because I'm about to take y'all all the way back to he's so real, real in my soul today. He has washed all of my sins away. Jesus' love just bubbles over in my soul. That's how I grew up on a Sunday morning. My grandma would pray Charles Nix, and he'd just say something like this. He's so real, real in my soul today. He has washed all of my sins away. Jesus' love just bubbles over in my soul. There was a deacon at St. James. He'd get up and say, some folks doubt the Lord. You got to go back on YouTube. This is what they try to tell you. They try to tell you that God is dead. Oh, they try to tell you that the Lord ain't real. He got that getting old. But I stopped by to tell you that is real. He'll say something like this. He's real. 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 Jesus' love just bubbles over in my soul. I had an old school flashback. That's when you woke up on Sunday morning hearing gospel music being played through the house. Bacon and eggs and biscuits being smelt through the aroma. And grandmama say, put your Sunday go to meeting clothes on. Time to go to church. He's real. 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 Father, it's preaching time. I ask that you hide me behind the old rugged cross. That your people do not see me, but sir, we would see Jesus. I'm your instrument, so play me in any key that you want me to be played in. And you get all the glory. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen. Help me welcome our cyber sanctuary in this place. We're standing from Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 through 20. If you are traveling along with us in Bible study, you already know where I'm headed. Matthew chapter 28, verses 18 through 20, as we're standing for the reading of God's holy word. There you shall find these words. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore teaching all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. And I want to talk about going, growing, and glowing. Those are my 3 points. Going, growing, and glowing. My brothers and sisters, here we have Jesus, who's getting ready to ascend back up to heaven. The Bible says that he called the 11 disciples, and the 11 disciples met him, and he told them that all power is given unto him. Well, when did he get the power? He got the power when he got up early the third day morning. Got to realize that when he came down, he left his deity. He left his deity up on the throne with God, and he had his humanity, because he had to come down and be born like you and I. So he left his deity. You look at it, Philippians chapter 2 and 7 says, and he became kenosis, that he self-emptied himself. You heard the old preacher say he took off his royal robe in glory, hopped down on a train, and came down through 42 generations. He left his deity with the Father. That's why he says, I and the Father is one. It ain't wrong that me and the Father are one, because the Father has sent me, and just like the Father sent me, I send you. You done missed it already. That's point number 1. You got to get off your blessed assurance and start going. If the church is going to become the 5-star church that we are pushing for, we got to have evangelism in the church. And evangelism does not happen on Sunday morning. Evangelism happens Monday through Saturday. Ain't nobody talking to me. Because when you come to church, you come to church to worship him. You don't come to church to do anything else. I know you say, well, Reverend, I got to come to church because it's my Sunday to sing. You sing through evangelism. Ain't nobody talking to me. When you get up to sing, it ain't about you. It's about him. And when I come to church, I don't come to have an audience with Mount Hermon. I come to have an audience with the King of Kings. Ain't nobody talking to me. When I give the best of my service, telling men and women that the Savior has come, only what I've done for Christ is going to last. I don't care how hard I preach. I don't care how hard I pray. I don't care how hard I serve. If I serve the Lord in vain, ain't nothing going to happen. Oh, I'm coming around the mountain. Listen, because guess what? Everybody in the church is a leader, but everybody ain't an officer. You can be a leader without an officer, but you can't be an officer without being the leader. But the problem is, too many people got titles and ain't doing nothing. That's the go mentality right there. He tells the 11 to go. And that's the problem with some of us. We don't want to go. We want to send folks. Okay. You're looking at me in this tone that I don't want you to look at me in, but I came to get it this morning. I spent 3 days in Birmingham sitting at the feet of my pastor. I spent 8 hours on a bus on a hot Saturday in Birmingham, and I stayed on that bus, and I wrote, and I talked to God, and I talked to God some more, and I said, God, I need a word, because people are dying, people are struggling, and somebody needs somebody to tell them about the goodness of Jesus. And if you don't want to be somebody to tell somebody about Jesus, you need to stay at home, and you don't need to come out no more. Because the world is hungry for the living bread. Ain't nobody talking to me. We got too many young men dying. We got too many young girls coming up missing, and the church ain't doing nothing. We have lost too many of our people to the other church. Because the other church is doing more evangelism and we doing stationary work. Ain't nobody come to talk to me. He tells us to go to all nations. Let me deal with that real quick, because you're going to be surprised that other nationalities is going to get to heaven. They may not call him Jesus. They may not call him Yeshua. They may not call him, but there's only one God. See how you done messed up? See, be careful how you dogging the Muslims. Be careful how you dogging the Jehovah's Witness. Be careful how you dogging other folks. There's only one God. And his name is Elohim Eli. He's the God who reign and super reign. Look at it. Go into all nations. All of us. I said all. Ain't going to look like you. Ain't going to smell like you. But oh, if you ever make it to the pearly gates, there's going to be some folks that you didn't think was going to make it. They still serve the same God that you serve. I don't care what you call them, as long as you do call them. Okay, y'all looking at me in this tone that I don't want y'all to look at me in. I keep telling y'all, I'm one person, but I have many hats. To my nieces and my nephew, I'm their uncle. To my sister, I'm her brother. To my mama, I'm her son. To my aunts and uncle, I'm their nephew. To some of y'all, I'm your pastors. To some of y'all, I'm just that boy that get up every Sunday and try to talk. And to the community, I'm their pastor. It don't matter what you call me as long as I answer. Come here, and that's the same way God is. He don't care what you call him. You may call him Jehovah Jireh. You may call him Jehovah Nisi. You may call him Jehovah Shalom. You may even call him a bridge over troubled water, shelter in the time of storm. Whatever you call him, long as you learn how to call him. He tells us to go to all nations. Now what you're going to do, I'm going to teach them. Now, how you going to teach if you don't come to Bible study? How you going to teach and you ain't been taught? And that's the problem with the African American church. We got people in leadership that can't be taught. Ooh, I came to get it this morning. We got people in leadership that's still stuck in 1968, and it's 2020, and God is saying, if I'm... Okay, let me show you, because y'all looking at me in that tone that I don't want you to look at me in. He says, go and teach all nations. And once we teach them, we got to baptize them. So the teaching got to come first. You got to catch the fish before you clean it. And the problem with some of us, we're counting our eggs that we ain't even got in our basket. You know, I'm coming down to get you because you're looking at me in that tone that I want you to look at me in. Some of y'all already undecided what you're going to do with your income tax money, and you ain't got it yet. And you up here already counting what you're going to do with your income tax money, and then when you go file your income taxes, you ain't going to get nothing back. Now you're mad. I was going to buy a new TV. I was going to get a new car. I was going to get a new this. You're counting your eggs before they hatch. And Jesus said we got to teach them. And then once we teach them, we got to baptize them. So don't expect when you go out there and go, everybody know Jesus like you know Jesus. Don't expect that everybody is going to accept them the same way you accept them. Because some of y'all, if you will be honest, met Jesus in a nightclub. Some of you met Jesus at the strip club. Some of you met Jesus when you were doing wrong because you said something within withholds the right. Something within I cannot explain. Oh, it was something. Okay, see how holy you're trying to act? You're trying to act like you met Jesus in the church. But some of y'all was somewhere you ain't had no business being. And you remember the words of what they were preaching. And you said, man, something told me it wasn't a something, it was a someone. Come here. That's why some of you can't even sin comfortably, because your conscience is working on you, because there ought to be something different about you than the people in the world. He says, you got to go, you got to teach them, and then you got to baptize them. Y'all not praying with me. So what am I going to teach them, Johnson? All things. It's right there in verse number 20. Teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. Wait a minute. Let me pastor. There's only one leader in this church, and he happened to have on a So what I teach is what he tells me. Now, look at it. He's talking to the 11 disciples. He ain't talking to y'all. And that's the problem. You put your place in places where God ain't talking to you. Okay, y'all Bible is in red if you ain't turned it out right. Go back to verse number 16. Y'all at verse number 16? It says, then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, and to the mountain where what? Wait a minute. About to get in trouble. There's a difference between being appointed and being selected. Then the 11 disciples went away into where? Into a mountain where what? Had what? Wait a minute, let's do some Bible study. This is the same place when Jesus had got up. He told Mary and Martha to go tell my disciples to meet me in Galilee. They already knew where to meet him. They just had to go to. Come here. So there's a difference between being appointed and being selected. Verse number 17. And when they saw him, they did what? But what? And that's the problem in the church. You got some worshipers and you got some doubters. That's why some of y'all ain't got what everybody got, because you still doubting God. You still don't believe that God is alive. I got enough faith in God that if one door closed, he'll open up another. I got enough faith in God that if you try to shut me out, he'll let me in. Some worship and some doubt it. And every Sunday morning, we got some doubters and worshipers showing up. But we ought to have more worshipers than doubters, because the more worship we have, the more he goes up. Okay. Y'all see that? Some worship, some doubt. Verse number 18. And Jesus came and spake unto. Who did he talk to? The 11 disciples. And that's the problem, Vera. People are putting their places in places they ain't got no business in. This is the going part. You can't go everywhere because he didn't tell you to go everywhere. But when he tells you to go, he appoints you. He appoints you, and when he appoints you, you go. Can I help you? That's why some of y'all can't find a new job. It ain't the time. That's why when you try to get a new house, it ain't the time. Try to get a new car, it ain't the time. You got to wait till he tells you to. All right. Point number 2. You got to go. Point number 2. You got to grow. And that's the problem, because folks don't want to grow. You got so comfortable. If y'all was at Bible study, let me tell you one more time. The church has to become 5-star through evangelism, spiritual development, fellowship, ministry, and worship. If you don't have those 5, you're not a 5-star church. And until we get to the place that we're growing through our spiritual development, we're still stagnant. Now, those of you who work in leadership at stores, you know numbers matter.
That's right.
And if you ain't got the right numbers, you can be shut down.
That's right.
Now, don't all y'all do it, but I started doing this just this year. I go into restaurants and I look at their score.
That's right.
And if they score ain't 97 and up, I ain't eating it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And sadly, some of these churches ain't even in the 90s. Ooh-wee. And we got to learn how to grow, because what are we growing in? Everything that he has taught us. Okay, here it is. He says, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded. Y'all see that? And lo, comma, I am with you all. I'm hearing an S. Ain't no S on that. I'm with you all way. Now, they ain't going to accept it, but I'm with you. They going to talk about you, lie on you, but I'm with you. They going to scandalize your name, but I'm with you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you that I'm with you. I'm going to put a Mike Jones on you. Back then, they didn't want you. Now they're all upon you. Come here, because I'm with you all way. And the only way I'm going to be with you if you start teaching what I told you to teach. When you start going where I tell you to go. And that's the problem with some of us. We don't want to do what the Lord says do, because we done got too stagnated. We done got too comfortable. And he's calling for us to go. Okay. Come here. Come here. Come here. Because you got this mindset. Let somebody else do it. And somebody says, anybody can do it, and nobody winds up doing it. That's it. And folks is going to hell in a handbasket because nobody want to step up. Okay, because y'all looking at me. I got Bible to back me up. Here goes, I got to tell you, Mama gained some weight. Got tired. Okay. Because when you read the book of Malachi, and I think I'm preaching it next month, I'm praying that the God release me to preach Malachi next month. Malachi ain't about tithes and offering. Malachi is about you done got too comfortable with God, and God said, because you done got too comfortable with me, I'm going to put a curse on you. Okay, come here. Come here. Read chapters 1 and 2, and then read chapter 3. He's saying to the prophet, he's saying to the man of God, y'all done got too comfortable with me. You used to love on me. You used to care about me. Now you don't got comfortable with me. Will a man rob God? As a matter of fact, he answered his own question. He said, yes, you do. Through tithes and your offering. Now drop down to Malachi chapter 3, round verse number 22 to the end. And he says, because you done got too comfortable with me, because you don't treat me like you used to treat me, I'm going to put a curse on you. I wish I learned how to read the Bible. Noel, go on your phone, look at Malachi chapter 3, and you'll find the last word in chapter 3 is the word that says curse. And when you see the word curse, that means God got mad at y'all, and he shoved heaven and earth for 400 years, and he shoved for 400 years that there was no fellowship between God and man. God wouldn't talk to us, nor would we talk to God. But the second person of the Godhead, which name is Jesus, said, Daddy, prepare me a body, because I don't want the world to be cursed. I want the world to be saved. And because he wanted us to be saved, we got John chapter 3, verse 16 and 17. For God so loved the world that he gave. And love is an action word, because if you really love me, show me that you love me. If you really care for me, show me how much you care for me. And because he loved me so much that he don't want me to die, he want me to be saved. Come on. I'm in the Bible. So he says, teaching them to observe all things that I have taught you. And lo, I'm with you always. That's the glory. To know that Jesus is always with you. hear nobody because he's always with me. When you walk in your house by yourself, baby, you ain't by yourself. Goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. When I'm driving a bus at 4 o'clock in the morning and everybody in the back is asleep, he's still walking with me. He's still talking with me because he never sleeps nor slumbers. It's right there. He says, I'm going to be with you. Always. Even when you got to go through your fiery furnace, I'm going to be with you. Even if you got to go in the lion's den, I'm going to be with you. Even if you got to go through cancer, through sickness, I'm going to be with you because I promise to be with you. Oh! I got to go.
Come on, preacher.
He says, the whole book, purpose of the book of Malachi is to let you know you ain't got too comfortable. But I'm so glad when Malachi ends, Matthew begins. Malachi, did you see it nowhere? The word was cursed, right? Y'all saw it, the word was cursed, right? But I'm so glad for every curse, there's a Christ. For every curse, there's a Christ. For every chaos, there's a Christ. Whatever you're going through, there's a Christ that's going to be with you always. Okay. Y'all still got y'all Bible open? He loves me. Because Matthew chapter 1 says, and she shall bring forth a son, and his name shall be called Jesus, which means he shall save his people from their sins. And people ought to see the Jesus in you that'll help them get saved from their sins. And that's why you got to have a glow on the inside, that you're letting your light so shine that men may see your good work, not glorifying you, but glorifying the Father. I wish I had some help in here. And when you learn how to glorify the Father, he'll start bringing more. You heard what it said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I'll draw. So we're going to be a 5-star church. Got to have this evangelism down. Are you going? See, we always want to go over there to Africa. But you need to start here right at home. There's some people in West Charlotte that need to know Jesus. There's some people in West Charlotte that need to know that he's still saved. And then when we get out of West Charlotte, there's Lanett. When you get out of Lanett, there's Valley. When you get out of Valley, there's West Point. When you get out of West Point, there's LaGrange. When you get out of LaGrange, there's Hamilton, there's Hoganville, there's Noonan, there's ain't nobody talking to me. And if you want to go the other way, there's Shorter, there's Opelika, there's Auburn, there's Casita. We need to let the world know around here that Mount Hermon is still on the map. I wish I had some help in here. You need to let them know because you got to learn how to go. Now, you can't go if you ain't learned how to grow. Okay. Let me give y'all an illustration. Y'all learn how to grow. The only way you're going to grow, you got to go through something. There is something called a caterpillar that start making a cocoon. And it gets inside of the cocoon. And at the right time, it starts breaking the cocoon. Now, here's the thing. You can't help the caterpillar break the cocoon. Because if you help them, you handicap them. See, that struggle inside the cocoon gets his wings strong. So it needs to go through a cocoon to get strong. I wish I had some help in here. 2019, I was in my cocoon. But 2020, I'm a butterfly. And as a butterfly, you can't hang with caterpillars no more. And I wish I had some people in here to say it ain't nothing personal. It's just business. It's time for me to fly a little bit higher. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength and mount up with wings as an eagle, should run and not be weary, should walk and not faint. Is there anybody here that's going to learn how to wait on them?
Right there.
So you got to go.
Got to mount up.
You got to grow.
Yes, sir.
Then he gets the glory.
Yes, he will.
I was talking to somebody yesterday. They were, Reverend, you just really believe that Bible, don't you? I said, yes. I believe it with my whole heart. They said, Reverend, you must be crazy to have faith like that. No, I ain't crazy, because I told y'all you need to learn how to read the Bible. John chapter 14, you just want to read, let not your heart be troubled. But if you go down to around verse number 12, Jesus tells me whatever I ask in his name, and that the Father get the glory, he'll grant unto me. And I've learned how to put it in his name. I think I'm going to try B flat this morning. I said I learned how to try his name. Because when I was 12 years old at Christ Temple Baptist Church, we used to sing a song, I put it all in his hands. And then we'll say, we put this, we put that in his hands. Is there anybody here that learned how to put it all in his hands? If you gonna make it in 2020, you got to put it all in his hands. You can't hang on to it, but you got to turn it over to the Lord. And when you learn how to turn it over to the Lord, he will work it out. Is there anybody here? No, he will work it out. Whatever you're going through, he'll work it out. With Johnson, how do you know he'll work it out? I checked his record, and the record is clear. If you ask it in his name, he'll work it out. Come here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They said, "O King, our God is able, but if not, we still gonna trust him." Come here, Daniel. Daniel said, "My God is able, but if not, I'm still gonna trust him." Come here, Moses. Moses said to the Lord, "Who should I tell him that sent me?" He said, "Moses, tell them I am that I am," which simply means whatever you need, I'll be that for you. If you need a heart fixer, if you need a mind regulator, if you need a heavy load sharer, he will be just that for you. Can I ask you a question? Ain't he all right? I said, ain't he all right? Is there anybody here ever been sick and doctors walked away, but he showed up right on time? Anybody here, bills need to be paid, and you didn't know how you gonna pay your bills, but it showed up right on time? Y'all still looking at me, so let me call my grandmama. My grandmama said he's bridge over troubled water. My grandmama said he's the lily of the valley. My grandmama said he's the bright and morning star. My grandmama said he water when you get thirsty. My grandmama said he's food in a starving land. Now that's what my grandmama said. But I told my grandmama, can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody hold me like Jesus. I told my grandmama, he's my Jehovah Jireh. Whatever I need, he shall provide. I told my grandmama, he is a balm in Gilead. I told my grandmama, don't you worry. everything gonna be all right. Is there anybody here ever tried my Jesus? Anybody here ever tried the Lord? Won't it show up right on time? Sire, can I tell y'all what happened on the hill called Calvary? He died. He died. Anybody here know he died? But early, I said early, Sunday morning, he got up. He got up with all power in his hands. Ain't that good news? Good evening, children. Farewell, Mount Hermon. Just in case the Lord should come before we tarry together again, I'll meet you on the other shore. Do me a favor. I like that, Key Wendell. Do me a favor. Slip your arms around yourself. Hug yourself and look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, be not dismayed. Whatever be the times, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings of love abide. God will take care of you. Look at your neighbor. Don't act antisocial. Don't act bougie and stuck up. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I don't know how you feel about it, but that God of mine, he shows up in a nick of time. Can I give you 10 reasons why I trust the Lord? Reason number 1, he been good to me. Reason number 2, he been good to me. Reason number 3, he been good to me. Reason number 4, he been good to me. Reason number 5, he been good to me. Reason number 6, he been good to me. Reason number 7, he been good to me. Reason number 8, he been good to me. Reason number 9, he been good to me. Reason number 10, he been good to me. And since he been that good to me, I need to be better to him because he been good to me, because he woke me up right early this morning, started me on my way. I owe him some praise because I could have been dead, sleeping in my grave, but he told death to behave. I owe him some praise because he protected me from danger seen and unseen. I owe him some praise because he walks with me. He talks with me. He tells me that I am his own. He been good to me. And since he been good to me, I got to be better to him. Is there anybody want to be better to the Lord than do a Marvin Gaye? Put both hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. If you want to be born again, you ought to let the world know whose side you're leaning on. I don't know about you. I may not know 4 things. I may not know 3 things. I may not know 2 things. But Sire,